Hey nerds, welcome back to Nerd News. I'm your host, Danielle, and today I'm going to be reviewing the new Aquaman movie. Going into this movie, I wasn't expecting much. I was mostly worried that Aquaman would be portrayed as this surfer bro dude that he was in Justice League, and I was just terrified that he was going to be portrayed like that in this movie. Aquaman in the comics has so many different styles and personalities that it's hard to pick which one's the best. Dark and edgy in the 90s, dumb jock in the 2000s, and serious king in the New 52 most recently. And in preparation, like I said before, it was hard to determine which was the best Aquaman, because I was just kind of reading Aquaman. I've never read Aquaman before this movie, so I didn't really have a lot of exposure. I had some, but not too much. The Throne of Atlantis storyline is actually one of my top 10 favorite books now because I've read it. It's fantastic. I recommend you go read it, and it's the best, not the best version of Aquaman, but Ocean Master in it is the best thing ever. But this movie takes a little bit of each style and single-handedly makes the best version of Aquaman. He's both funny, serious, and edgy when he needs to be. Arthur Curry, now this might be a divisive, but Arthur Curry, Aquaman, is the most human character we have ever seen in the DCEU. He has doubts in himself like any man. He makes himself a mask of laughter that hides the fear that lies within him. And that is so human. Like Wonder Woman, best DCEU movie by far. But this is a better character than Wonder Woman, in my opinion. Better character than Batman, Flash, Cyborg. I want to see another movie about Aquaman, and probably just Aquaman, than Wonder Woman any day of the week, by far. In recent years, Aquaman, the main plot of the Aquaman comics, has been reforming Aquaman and making him seem less like a fish boy and a joke character. You know, in the last 8 years, they've acknowledged that, like, oh, no one's your favorite superhero. They acknowledged that. In the comics, they acknowledged, like, people make jokes about Aquaman, that he talks to fish or whatever. I hate that joke. But after 8 years, that's not a really interesting storyline anymore. Like, I don't care. Like, yes, that's cool now, but not anymore. It's kind of gotten old. In this movie, they don't try to reform him. They don't try to make changes to make him look more like a badass. James Wan, the director, takes all the crazy and silly stuff from the comics and just goes with it. It's like, I don't care what these people say. Let's go make this movie. Like, I don't care who I'm showing to be the best, be one of the best superheroes. Let's just take what we have from the comics. And that's what makes this movie so special. This is the one of the only superhero movies I remember in a long time that doesn't compensate the story for making the movie seem realistic, which is really good. The story itself is cheesy, predictable, and the villain is just alright. But cheesy is what makes this movie so special. It's not the best superhero movie by far. It's not even in my top 10, but it's hard to explain. It's cheesy, and that's what makes the movie special. That's all I can say. If you like those kinds of movies, you're going to love this. Every fight in this movie was also interesting. This movie is, if not the best, one of the best superhero movies for action scenes. Yeah, and I'm saying that for a DC movie. I'm sorry. Every fight in this movie there was a new spectacular and a new shot. It's really refreshing to see a different style or angle in each little fight scene. You'll never get that bored in this movie. I've never been so attached to the screen before. I mean, there were other movies, but every single fight scene in this movie had me attached to the screen where it's like, oh, now there's an above shot. Oh, in this other scene, now it's a downward shot. It's so different, and James Wan as a director can master all these different angles, and it's so refreshing. Oh, there's this lawn tank, and it's so appreciating for fans that like that. Yeah, I get to see that. My one wish with this movie is that they should have spent more time in Atlantis or the ocean in general. We get a few scenes, but we never see how the people of Atlantis live, which would have been really interesting to see. It would have been a way for Arthur to sympathize with Atlantis, with seeing how the people lived and seeing how these are people, not monsters, because at this moment, he sees them as monsters. He sees these as people that killed his mother. So, yeah, this would have been a great way and an opportunity for Arthur to be developed and not just, become king at the end. This movie overall is fantastic and great. There are a few flaws, like the Ocean Master was okay, not exactly from the comics. He's Groot, not my favorite villain of all time, but also not a CGI villain like in Justice League or in Doomsday. So, getting better. He's definitely the best villain in the DCAU. If that makes makes it feel good, I guess. Yeah, and also if you love crazy action with CGI like the Star Wars prequels, you'll love this. And also just a good superhero story that's good popcorn flick. You'll love it. If you don't watch this movie. I enjoyed myself with my family, so I'm giving this a 7.9. Yes, it did have some flaws, but I also did love this movie to death. Comment down below your thoughts in the comment section down below. Remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe. This is Nerd News. Sign off.